Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Freaky Fast Broadcasting here on Tuesday night as we got the Arca Evolution Series here, as always, here on Tuesday nights at this early 7:20 Eastern. And we got a heck of a race here tonight for sure at the Michigan International Speedway. Remember, the Evolution Racing Leagues is always brought to you by or Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. And as always, myself, Zach Hall, up here in the booth. Alongside me will be Brandon Colley, my partner in crime, with Robert Moyer Jr. running the cameras in the background and leading us with great tips also. So thank you to Robert for bringing these beautiful shots to us and putting on a heck of a show here for us. Me, Colley, to commentate and bring all the race fans and drivers the content they need as we are in practice right at this moment. Colley, what's your thoughts on Michigan here tonight? We got some pretty big little field here tonight for the Arca Evolution Series.
Yeah, it's looking like a 24-car field or so. Should be really exciting action here at Michigan International. You know, track's normally pretty fast. Really good bit of banking as opposed to somewhere, say, like Auto Club, where it's a bit flatter, so you can carry a lot more speed in the corners. And looking at it right now, we've got a track temp of 121. So this track is really, really slick, and we're going to see these guys wheeling these things tonight.
And we're also going to have to watch how these lines develop. Usually it seems like that second groove, the third groove, is always the best groove here at Michigan. But I tell you what, if you can make something else work, it should be interesting. Now, I don't really know the balance of these cars yet. They do look a little bit free from just watching these guys. So that should actually open up the grooves and make a little bit of multi-ball, multi-groove racing here as we got about 1 minute left in practice before we head off into qualifying and see who can win our Sheffield Graphics poll. But I tell you what, like you said, 121-degree track temp, Colley, that's going to be very tough. What does it feel like when we get these hot temperatures out here on the racetrack, to explain to all the race fans at home?
Well, it's almost like the tires just kind of turn to rocks almost. Especially off the corner or going into the corner, you expect to have a little bit of turn once you get in and start turning the wheel to make the corner, and it takes a while for the turn to actually take effect, and you almost slide the nose a little bit. And then off the corner, it really heats up the rear tire just with the heat in the track surface, and not including where you're getting on the tire building up heat. So these things balloon really quick. And that really reduces the grip as well. And it's almost like like a rock. Trying to imagine a wheel that's made as a rock on these things, trying to get any type of grip off the corner. There's not a lot there.
Yeah, it definitely is. As you can see, a few guys out here hitting the racetrack here pretty hard. It's really a tough place too sometimes with racing. It's hard to pass, but man, oh man, look at that! We just see there. That was a pretty mighty hit there. Luckily, that was in practice and not in the race to ruin any problems for them here leading into it. But now we go to qualifying. It'll be interesting to see who can pull off this pole, because remember, here in the Arca Evolution Series, we only have 45 laps in these races. Very limited number of laps in these races, so you got to get everything you can early and often in track position, because it's just tough here. And with that 40% fuel load, Brandon, I think we'll definitely be seeing one stop here, most likely.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they've maybe got 10 laps that they're going to be short here to make it to the final lap of the race. So we'll see one stop. They've only got one set of tires in the pits, and I think rather than pitting maybe early, just to make sure you don't have to pit late, I think that that extra set of tires you're going to want to save until late in the race, especially with how hot the track is, how easy to wear the tires it's going to be. So that'd be my bet. Wait and see maybe if we get a caution around lap 30, or maybe a little bit before that 25. We might split it just halfway and try to go the distance on that last set.
Well, actually, looking at the info here, Colley, it seems like we have unlimited set tires here tonight. So tire strategy, not going to be too big of a factor, but I mean, it'll still come to a factor if you don't pit for sure for tires.
I've been lied to. Oh no. Yeah, that definitely changes everything if you've got unlimited sets. If there's a caution, I imagine everybody's going to come down and take tires. They're too important not to.
Yeah, being a 2-mile racetrack too, normally these longer racetracks, tire wear is really, really strong. As look at that across the board. it was Bob Fitzpatrick on top of the board. Then GT is able to take that top spot in that 14 there with a 39.53. It'll be interesting to see the second lap is the fastest lap. I imagine the first is going to be it, but you never know, really. Sometimes on that second lap, you can really get the speed build up.
Yeah, it really varies from track to track. Sometimes it, takes that first lap to really get up to an optimal temperature in the tire to really get a quick lap time for your second one. And sometimes you almost want the cooler temps so you can turn your fast lap on your very first lap.
Great times up on the board right now. Look at that, Ryan Ezel. That's a great time for him there in the 88 machine to put himself third on the board. So great run there for Ryan Ezel so far. Also got Daniel Gonzalez there in fifth. Now moving back to fifth is Carl Thompson. Puts himself up into third, but nobody near the time GT is put down yet. We do have about 10 drivers left to put a qualifying time in. Let's see if anybody can come close to that number 14 machine here as qualifying is nearing halfway.
Well, I'll tell you, Zach, looking at it, the fastest time in practice was a 39.44 by Kevin Sabilla. As GT put it, right now, his pole time is 39.5. So with this temp in the track up to 122 now, they've already fallen off 1/10 on their hot lap times. So these times are really going to fall off throughout the run.
Very true. There's Randy Cornwell now puts himself up into the third position in that 18 machine. So great lap for him. And, also interesting to see, will that be a occurrence with, draft? How much does draft speed these guys up? You could, that 44 could have been a time we've seen in draft, but at the same time, these cars are not going to gain too much time from that draft.
No, I think fresh tires, draft will matter a lot, but when it comes down to really having to have a lot of off-throttle time in the corners once the tires wear in, the draft really isn't going to be as big of a factor as nailing that off-throttle and, when you pick up the throttle again off the corner.
Look at that, as Kellen, the 117, put himself second on the board. Here's we see the 83 across the line of Stephen Carey. Looks like he'll put himself in the 13th position at the moment. His times are still being placed here at the Michigan International Speedway here in the Arca Evolution Series. Tell you what, though, it's very close times between a lot of these guys.
Yeah, top four only separated by about a little over a tenth, and then second to fourth is within a couple hundredths of each other. So really close times for top four, especially.
Very close times here early. That's Zach Sandlin there, placed himself 15th on the board. So we had 22 cars put down time so far. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a nice little field here tonight in the Arca Evolution Series as we are 5 seconds away from the Indiana qualifying. I think that's going to be pretty much everybody who gets a time in. And yes, it is. That is the end of your qualifying session here in the Arca Evolution Series as GT is your Sheffield Graphics pole winner. And we will get straight to the grid here and go through our grid, and then we'll get a talk in and see what GT's thoughts are before this race kicks off. And there it is. Our grid is up. GT Irizarry there starting on the pole in that first position, followed by Kel Simon there in second. Randy Cornwell's be in that third position there on the second row, followed alongside by Bob Fitzpatrick in fourth. Fifth is going to be Carl Thompson. Sixth, great qualifying runner for Ryan Ezel. Seventh there is Daniel Gonzalez. Eighth, Stephen Baldwin. Ninth, Michael Martino. 10th is BJ McDonald. 11th is James Courtrone. 12th will go to Scott Taylor. 13th is Stephen Carey at 83. 14th, Steve Potter. 15th is Zach Sandlin in the 57. 16th is Kevin Dowd. 17th, Justin Malarkey. 18th, Michael Haru. 19th will go to Stephen Rasick. 20th, Josh Holmes. 21st, James Wright. 22nd, Matthew Dude. 23rd, Matt Upbrook. 24th is David Edwards. 25th is Kevin Sabilla. And then 26th will be Kevin Zabladil. And that is your starting lineup here tonight in the Arca Evolution Series, as your pole winner is GT Irizarry, and he's your Sheffield Graphics pole winner. And we will get a quick chat in here with GT and get his thoughts for this Arca Series race here. And here is GT, our Sheffield Graphics pole winner.
Hey GT, it's Brandon in the booth. How you doing, bud?
Good, brother. What's up?
Well, man, you at the moment, quick time sitting on the pole here. How's that car feeling? We're talking about this track temp and what it's going to do to the tires and the handling of this thing. How's it feeling?
Well, it felt good for the qualifying lap. I only got about 3 laps in at practice, so the longevity of this is going to be interesting at the most. So, or at the least, rather. So we'll just have to wait and see. Michigan's just one of my favorite tracks. I mean, heck, if they were saying we were racing lawnmowers at Michigan, I think I would register to go. So,
Well, a racer at heart. Great job putting it on the pole again, and hopefully, you're not going to miss out too much by not putting down that many practice laps, and you keep that thing up front, as we talk about every week here. Qualifying seems to be so important for these races, so see you guys rolling off on the grid. We'll let you get back down there and take care of business, bud. Maybe we'll talk to you at the end of this thing.
yeah, I appreciate it, man. And hopefully we can keep this Jimmy John's Freaky Fast car up on the front for the Freaky Fast broadcasting crew.
That sounds good, bud. Good luck.
All right, that was your Sheffield Graphics pole winner here tonight, a GT. So like you said, I like it. Freaky Fast Jimmy John's car there, and it's on the Freaky Fast broadcast.
Jimmy John's, we need a sponsorship. Let's go.
I know, right? That's some good stuff. I actually don't have a Jimmy John's near me, but I did when I lived in Wilmington. I had it for a little bit, so
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
yeah, I've only had it a few times technically, but hey, it was good the times I've had it, so I'm winning. I'm winning. Oh, and we are almost to the restart zone. Everybody out there, thank you for tuning in so far. We're about to get this thing kicked off here, freaky fast style. It's about to be freaky crazy, and as Robert always says, freaky nuts. I can't believe I said that. But as the pace car will take the left turn off the pit road, here we are on board with GT, our pole winner. He'll come to the restart zone looking for that flag man to wave that beautiful green flag. There it is, green flag in the air on the gas pedal. GT is, and he drives that 14 down to turn 1 side by side with Kale. Brady Cornwell behind, Bob Fitzpatrick there in the fourth position.
I'll tell you, as we're riding along with the GT, already some aggressive moves in the back. Saw a couple of guys shooting 3 wide right off the restart. These guys are getting after it. It's only 45 laps, not much longer than your standard iRacing official oval race.
It definitely is. We had someone way down there in the back.
Oh, no.
We're wrecking. I think we're... Oh, no, we're not. Oh, no, that was Stephen Baldwin involved, I believe. Oh, and it all started around Carl Thompson. And looks like, was that Daniel Gonzalez there? So we'll have to go back on the Freak Fast replay and check out our first or Nissan Central caution. Here is caution number 1. Looking at Scott Taylor, it looks like the wreck happens in front. There's a 66. And really the 66 had... really it was just kind of an innocent bystander there, as he was just slow from that initial wreck, and then Scott Taylor really had nowhere to go. He couldn't slow down in time and got into him in the 24. It all seemed like it started around Daniel Gonzalez, and I believe the what number is that? Oh,
It's like the
59.
66 of Carl Thompson involved. Here in radio chatter, Zach, it sounded like the 99 of Daniel Gonzalez just wanted to give the 66 a little bump, trying to push him into the corner there. And as we've noted, these things don't bump very well. You can really jack up somebody's rear end and turn them pretty quick. So unfortunate here, start of this race. A couple guys' nights coming to an end very quickly.
Yes, it is. It's very unfortunate. Yeah, and that's the thing, it's one of those things where you want to help that guy ahead of you, give him that push, make him get that really good run down that front straightaway, or that back straightaway, and give him that nice push. But these cars, some reason the Arca cars, they tend to bumper hook, as we call it here in iRacing. You get that bumper right up underneath another guy's bumper, it just seems to hook him one way or the other. Fortunately, it hooked him right in front of traffic, and Stephen Baldwin there really nowhere to go.
Yeah, with these Arca cars, you really want to bump draft in the sense that you're bumping them with the bubble of air between the cars rather than your actual bumper. That seems to work best with these things because, like you said, these Arca cars really hook bumpers pretty easily. I don't know if it's just due to the way the physics model works with them and their outline boxes in the coding, but definitely easier to do in these than really any of the other stock cars we run.
Very easy to bumper hook that it is. Yeah, it's just one of the things that's unfortunate that you see happen here in these cars. And, like you said, no harm foul there from Daniel. He's just trying to help. You know, the car ahead of him, but these things, they just literally get so unstable when you got someone like that under there, and it's really due to the bumper in the front end. The front end almost goes right under the bumper of the car. If you notice, it doesn't really match up like the Gen 6 cars do, kind of like it's just a recipe for disaster sometimes, and unfortunate there, and you drive so many different cars on this sim that you can do that, and then you get in this car that where you really can't do it as well, and it just it causes issues like that. So unfortunate to see early caution here, and a few guys taken out by that, but that's what happens here in racing. And also got to remember, guys, this is our final race of the Arca Evolution Series here this season. So we got a season finale here for these guys in the Evolution Racing League here with the Arca series. So it should be very, very interesting to see how it all plays out and be the last winner of the season. As next season, I believe they will be taking points and a champion and that such. As this was more of a, just a beginning season where it's just all for fun, kind of.
Yeah, just fun little season, shaking everything down, making sure you got all the rules in place that you want when they're actually out here racing for points. And like you said, to be in the last race, it's about bragging rights and that confidence boost and momentum going into the next season. They want the go in with the big momentum coming out. Hey, I won that last race last season. I know it wasn't for anything, but I'm a contender.
That's right. Definitely could be coming into next season, and this is where you make your name here in the Evolution Racing League. You got to start out here in the Arca Series. Remember, this is the feeder series for both their Truck and their Cup Series. So if you got to make your name here, just like you do in real life racing, you got to make your name in the lower series, and get that respect here first before you can move yourself up. And we'll see if any drivers. It'll be fun to watch drivers move from this series up if slots open. So be very, very fun as the pace car begins to pull off, and we're going to bring the FUN back out here and have some more fun as GT is back off. Great restart from that time, and gets out there with a nice little lead over Randy Cornwell. And we'll see how it all shakes up now here as we're back under green flag racing here at the Michigan International Speedway.
Well, Zach, we haven't touched on it, and it occasionally is a problem at some tracks, especially in these Arca cars. Do you think we're going to see any wheel spin, on older tires?
That's a very good question. I really think you could. These cars, especially they have seemed to have that lower grip, and it seems like Michigan's always been one of those places where the surface has a little bit lower grip almost. So I can see personally maybe some wheel spin here if we get some older tire issues. But most of the time, I think guys that have older tires are going to be pitting, just due to the fact I think the fall off is going to be pretty considerable here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's going to be a possibility, but it's probably something we're not going to see just due to the limited tire sets. Actually, I think quite a few guys at the back decided to go ahead and pit last time by and picked up a set of tires as well as those that needed to fix damage.
Well, I'll tell you what, look at this battle here with BJ McDonald. And let's look back at Stephen Potter there as BJ McDonald was getting passed there by Stephen Carey. And I'll tell you what, Randy Cornwell took the lead while this was all going on too from GT. So what a move from Randy Cornwell in the 18 to get himself by GT to move himself up into that lead position. But I tell you what, GT's coming back pretty nicely here. And as we look back at Daniel Gonzalez now in the 5th position there, he is directly behind Kale as they go down the back straightaway here. Good run for Daniel so far in that 99.
Yeah, and one of the things that I find interesting here and Auto Club as well, you have to run the set of corners almost mirrored. Because the entry to 1 is much more sweeping than the entry to 3. So you almost take a really late apex out of 1 and 2, where you have to almost take a slightly earlier apex and then let it really wind out coming out of turn 4 to carry as much speed down the front stretch as possible. And it's really easy to misjudge that and get way too tight apexing a little too early and catching the fence out of either 2 or 4.
Very difficult corners here at the Michigan International Speedway. And, and they, even though they look pretty similar, they are completely different in my opinion, Kyle.
And it's one of the most interesting things about oval racing is because you look at the track layout and you figure you just looking at it, you know how you have to take these corners. But when you've got a lot of experience and turned a lot of laps, you really find out very quickly that you can't just run every corner the same, because you're not going to have the same result as the guys that have figured it out and been able to put down those quick times and find their way to the front. It's really an art at recognizing how you need to approach corners differently, even though they may look the same.
Definitely an art at oval racing to make both sides of the track work. But I tell you what, GT, he's been side by side there a few times with Randy now up front here in the 14 and the 18. He looks like he gets a pretty good run off of 4 here. He went side by side last time down in here and really just couldn't make the pass work on the bottom, and that's something we're going to see tonight. It's hard to pass on the bottom. Getting to the outside of somebody is going to be almost that way to the front.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked to GT before they started to the green flag here. He said he didn't have a lot of practice laps, and so this is a really good opportunity for him to just sit back and kind of learn and experiment and make up for that lack of practice, because he's not losing much by sitting in second place right now. Leader Randy Cornwell's well within his reach.
This should be a good little run here to ride on board with GT down the front straightaway. It's like he's going to look to the outside, but Randy's going to cover that off here, as these two are starting to put a little bit of a gap, as actually Kell passing Bob Fitzpatrick now for that 3rd position. Actually, Bob Fitzpatrick will fight back on the outside.
A little bit tight from the 3.
In the wall. Looks like Daniel Gonzalez will get by. Here comes Stephen Carey. And 83. Good moves for these guys. Unfortunate for Bob Fitzpatrick, a little bit of damage, and that will hurt you at a racetrack like this.
Yeah, generally the high-speed tracks like this, you carry a lot more speed. You rely a lot more on that the aerodynamics of the car. But as we mentioned time and time again with these Arca cars, the damage model, it's a lot more forgiving. And I think what hurt him more there is just the loss of momentum than actually getting into the wall there, because this car looks relatively clean, especially on the nose.
Yeah, it does actually look relatively clean here. I want to get a better look on that front fender. I'm going to get a look at that. Yeah, he really did a good job actually just scraping it. He didn't get to it way too hard, so that should be completely fine for that car.
Yeah, as opposed to something like the Cup car, the Xfinity car, or the truck, that kind of damage will absolutely ruin your race. Just that slight scuff on the wall really slows the car down.
Oh, and we were looking at Josh Holmes, Michael Martino behind him, got dead sideways in that 75. As you see, look at the time he lost there. That shows you how much of a momentum racetrack this is. You got to have Big Mo on your side here tonight if you want to be going forward.
Big Mo, I like that. He's got Matthew Dude up into the fence coming out of 2. Just a little scuff, all clean.
Look at a lot of guys going way down the apron just to get by a lot of these little incidences. And this is back to the 18th position.
You can see, just by how wide a lot of these guys are coming out of the corners there, that the tires have really ballooned and they don't have the grip that they were expecting to have. And it changes so quickly from lap to lap, especially once you put on new tires. You go into a corner one lap and it's fine. The very next lap you try to approach it the same way and the car is just not there anymore. Tires are gone. So you really got to be paying attention and focused at all times.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the most impressive things here is seeing the tire fall. This is some impressive tire fall here from the guys. Looking at the leader of Randy Cornwell, he qualified at a 39.63. We're running 41 flat right now, 14 or 15 laps into this race, 41.2 that time. So that just shows you we're way slower. We're over a second and a half slower already, 15 laps in this race, and that'll continue to drop here at this 2-mile racetrack.
Yeah, track temp up to 126 degrees. So this, you can almost start cooking eggs on the track surface right now. And it's really going to benefit guys that can back off the corner because we're going to have a lot more off throttle time. And like we talked about before, this is going to matter a lot more than being in the draft to somebody.
And it is as these front two continue to pull away. They've got about a second and a half gap back to Kel there in that third position. Now my question is, Brandon, when do we pit? This is the I'm thinking you got to pit around 22, 23, I think is what we want to do. Split it in half.
I agree. The one thing they're also going to be struggling with now is it's getting tighter because the fuel load is getting lower. So they don't have the weight in the back of the car. Get an idea of what the car is going to feel like in, say, 5 laps or so. As we have actually got Bob Fitzpatrick coming into pit now, as well as the 99. So I guess that answers that question.
Yeah, I think these guys are going ahead and getting it an early stop done here for these guys. Looks like Daniel Gonzalez. Looks like even BJ McDonald and Bob Fitzpatrick. So that puts Ryan Ezel up into the top 5 now in that 88, who's having a really good race there in the 5th position.
That almost makes me wonder if we have severely overestimated the amount of fuel with that 40% fuel load.
Yeah.
That maybe they can't go quite as far as we would think, because generally it's right about a 50-50 split, maybe a little over with their fuel load that they run for this Arc Evolution series. But I guess they're just burning a lot more fuel here than I would imagine.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense personally what we're seeing. This is a 2-mile racetrack, a lot of throttle time, so you burn a lot of fuel here. My question is, if you can get to 22 or 23, though, you can make it. So let's see if these guys can stretch it to that point, or are these guys saying, "I'm gonna pit as soon as I can" because they think the tires are going to even out, and see if they can get track position that way, and maybe they can make it to the end because they know how far they can go. But normally at this racetrack, you're looking around 48 to 50 laps most of the time. So it kind of makes sense personally for it being really close for this being a one stop.
Well, looking at it, we have GT Irizarry came in last time. I think Cale Seaman, yeah, he's going to come down this time as well. The undercut, I think, is going to be pretty huge here, Zach, because as we've seen, that the tires fall off and that it's almost 2 seconds, and then they just kind of plateau after a good bit. So these guys that are going to be running 2 seconds a lap quicker, especially somebody like GT that was already up at the front, he's going to be able to gain a pretty significant gap on Randy Cornwell.
Yeah, as Randy Cornwell continues on in that 18 machine, it's going to be very interesting. Looking at Malarkey here running in that 4th position, he's got David Edwards there directly ahead of him, who has been on the move, I must say. He is drove from 24th to the 3rd position right now. And Malarkey also 17th to 4th. So these two really making big gains on the field as top 2 come in, Stevie Carey and Randy Cornwell.
Yeah, I know a lot of these guys at the front are probably hoping for a caution with fresh tires against old tires. Somebody misjudging and catching a lot of these guys either lap down or in the back of the pack. A lot of track position.
Yeah, we had a caution laps too, Brandon, early in the race. So I don't think they can make it on one stop. I think we might have to do 2 stops here tonight.
Well, it definitely opens up a really big window for a lot of strategy here, especially with the undercut being so effective if it's a 2-stop race. Because with a 1-stop, if you mess it up slightly and just misjudge, your pit sequence, you don't have a lot of time to recover.
Not much time at all as Justin Malarkey stays out. Looks like David Edwards James Courtroom will come down pit road and give up the 1st and 3rd position. So that transitions it over to Malarkey's hands. Matt Upbrook's still on the racetrack also.
Well, going back to GT Irizarry, he's moved his way up to looks like 6th position, and last time by he set the fastest lap of the race, which was still a 10th off of his quick lap in qualifying. So the track heating up is definitely playing a big factor here in how these cars are handling and getting around here with any kind of speed.
Yeah, we'll see once it gets all settled out what our gaps will be. But yeah, like you said, GT making a huge gap on Randy. And if we cannot make this a 1-stop, Brandon, I think GT's sitting in a really good position to win this thing with this strat.
I agree. He's 27 and closing quickly behind Justin Larkey 27 seconds, and Randy Cornwell came out about 2.5 seconds behind GT. I believe I'm reading that right. So, like I said, GT a pretty big gap, and it's going to take Randy a while to really eat into that.
And looking at the lap times, and Malarkey's coming to pit road this time here on lap 23. Oh, I just don't know if he'll be able to make it the next 22. He did have that caution to help him save a little bit, but he'd have to go to another 22 laps here. That's going to be tough to do without a caution.
Well, the good news is he gave up a lot of time to GT. We're gonna have to see when they come back around to cycle for this next set of pit stops. But he's gonna have fresher tires, and when everybody else comes into pit, he's got a lot of a gap that he's gonna pull where he can afford to give up time clutching it to save fuel. So if he can get it close, he's got a definite shot to coast this thing back home for the win.
That's true. He could have a very big gap and coast it back, like you said, for the win. So, and he should start to gain some time back on these newer tires here. We'll see if Randy Cornwell can cut into GT. Is right now GT running a 40.29 the last time by Randy Cornwell's 40.0, so only 0.2. So GT looking very, very good here. We'll have to see if he made up a good bit of ground here. As leader runs a 40.47 to Randy Cornwell's 40.19, so about 0.3, and it's a 2.6 second gap. As Randy Cornwell now having to get around Daniel Gonzalez for that second position.
And that'll cost him a little bit of time as well, but not too much, as he looked like he made that pass pretty quickly as Daniel Gonzalez dropped another position to Bob Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Daniel Gonzalez made a little mistake and almost got into the wall on the exit, but he did a good job of keeping it pretty much out of it there with that 99 and not too much damage on that car.
You know, personally, that is going to be my, if I'm in the driver's seat, my biggest focus is making sure that I don't have to get out of the gas off the corner, just so I can carry as much speed, because that is the big factor in this race. You want to have as clean an exit and as straight an exit as possible to carry as much speed as possible on these long straightaways.
Yeah, if you're lifting, you're just going backwards in these things. As right behind them, they got Kale and Stephen Carey, who are coming up very quickly, the 117 and the 83 on the 99 and 3.
Well, going back to the 73, Justin Malarkey, he is just under 12 seconds back from our leader, GT Irizarry. Not too fast a gains, but he's definitely gaining every lap. So I think in another 10 laps or so, he should be within 5 seconds. Easy enough to put a gap on the leaders when they pit. Barring a caution, if there's a caution, it's probably the worst thing that could happen to Justin Malarkey.
Yeah, that could not play out the way he wants. But at the same time, if these guys pit and he does, and then it goes a few laps, he could gain the track position with everybody pitting again. And also, he may be saving fuel. I'll have to listen to his car here, but he could be saving fuel in that 73. Doesn't seem like it. No clutching, just kind of driving it. So, I would think maybe he was trying to start saving fuel with the times he's running compared to the leader GT on the older tires, but not looking like that right now.
I'd have to say, get all the time you can before the tires plateau out, then worry about fuel saving. Because you're going to have to be off the gas quite a bit once the tires wear in anyway. So just use that to your advantage and go ahead and clutch as much as possible back.
Very true. Very true. Might as well pick up the time now. As we're right on board right here, and it doesn't look he's saving here with 18 laps to go as GC just crosses the start-finish line with about a little under a second lead here for GT. Is Randy starting to close in for sure? Is Kale and Stephen Carey now up in the third and fourth?
Yeah, and I don't know if GT maybe is just not pushing as hard, but we saw him put down that quick lap right after he came into pit on this fresh tires, so maybe he just burned him up a little too much. Whereas Randy pit 2 laps later, so slightly fresher tires and maybe just not abusing them as much. As we see GT just really wide in 3 and 4.
Yeah, look at this run here. Watch this run. They're trading back and forth. He's like, I don't know which lane I want. Randy is now one car and a half behind GT, now less than a car length to the back bumper of that 14 through 1 and 2. Can he make this bottom lane work to get to the lead?
Well, I think GT's in the preferred position here, being able to carry a lot more momentum down the straightaways, but it sounds like GT's telling Randy he's not really going to fight him very much for it. He's just trying to run his race here, and realizing that Randy's on much better tires right now.
Now the question is, when does GT pit here? Because I don't think these guys are going to stay out the rest of this race here.
I don't think so either. You don't want to pit too late because you don't give yourself a lot of time to make use of your fresh tires, but you don't want to pit too early. It's the same as Zach Sandlin. You bring it up again, and Zach Sandlin, he says he's coming into pit, as well as the 9, so it's starting already.
Starting to already see some different strategies being played here at the Michigan International Speedway. See what happens here as the guys are hitting pit road now. They get that last set of fuel and tires and see what they can do to the very end here.
Almost had a little bit of an issue there with the 99 getting on pit road. Had a couple of guys have to check up to avoid running them over. Again, could have been disastrous for Justin Malarkey's strategy, but I'm sure Randy and GT are saying, come on, guys, bring one out.
They're asking for Freaky Fast right now?
Not yet. They haven't started with that yet.
Interesting to see Kale already coming in the 117s. He stretched it out pretty far last time. Now the question is, Brian, or how about I called you Brian?
How dare you?
What? I know you gotta take a fuel pretty much, a 40% fuel. But what if you took 2 tires here? That's my question. Could you make 2 tires work since you're running such little laps here?
It's something that I've been experimenting with quite a bit, trying to figure out that balance of 2 tires with fuel, just affecting the balance and kind of getting it where you want to. Not taking fuel and putting on 2 tires doesn't really seem to loosen you up. If anything, it makes you tighter. It definitely in the long run, maybe on the short run, you can get a little bit of speed, but I just don't think you're going to have enough fuel to weigh down the rear of the car to really make it rotate how you'd think it would on 2 tires. So I just don't think anybody can afford to not take 4.
We'll have to watch and pay attention to see if anybody does that. As David Edwards now hitting pit road, so is GT Irizarry. So there's 2 race cars, the 14th and the 15th there, and 3rd and 4th hitting pit road. Stephen Carey and Randy Cornwell continue to stay out here with 13 laps to go. Malarkey 11 seconds back from the lead, running 41.27 to the leader's 41.74. See if Malarkey can make the fuel stretch. It's going to be close, I think, for him.
Yep, already back up to 3rd position. It's looking really good. He might have just pulled off the perfect strategy here. And it looks like Randy and Stephen Carey both coming into pit this time by.
Trying to not let GT get that jump on him here. Randy the pit road to come his final set of tires and fuel.
And Justin Malarkey, right about the same time Randy did on pit road, crossed the finish line to inherit the lead. So Steven Rasick a good bit behind Malarkey, but I believe Steven may have to pit, or he might just be on the same strategy as Justin.
We'll have to see where's GT on the racetrack. Justin's going right now into 3 as GT's coming out of 4. So if Malarkey can make the fuel stretch, if he can really start to go into hardcore fuel saving here with 12 to go, he could possibly pull this thing off, guys.
Oh yeah, he's pulled out a huge gap, and that's what you want to see when you're playing this strategy. Because if the guy comes out and they're relatively close to you, you know you don't have a lot of time that you can afford to really lift and save as much as you'd like to. And a lot of times it ends up not working out. You run out of fuel because of it.
I'll have to see if Malarkey starts to slow his pace at all just to try to save that fuel. And I don't think he really is right now because he's running 41.6s. So doesn't seem like he's saving too much fuel. Maybe he'll be coming down here at some point. Maybe he knows he can't make it, but I would expect him to try to do this, though. Why not?
Yeah, only 10 laps to go. Bob Fitzpatrick, really the closest guy to him at the moment, still 18 and a half seconds back, closing very quickly. But that's 18 seconds is a lot of time.
Yeah, it definitely is. With 10 laps to go, that's almost too much.
And I'm going to be riding on board here with Justin Malarkey, just waiting to see when he really starts, clutching and getting into that immediate fuel save mode.
Yeah, and right now GT just passed Bob Fitzpatrick. Now moved up into third. He's 27 seconds back. So that's 27 seconds actually he's got a hold off. Steven Rasick might be on the same strategy. Actually, Steven's going to hit pit road, I believe, this time into machine.
But it looks like GT's only a second and a half quicker, and with the laps taken down, he's going to need to be a lot quicker than that.
Yellow flag is out.
Oh boy.
Wow, we got our second caution of the night, brought to you by Or Nissan Central. We'll have to go back on the Freaky Fast replay and see exactly what happened. As I believe possibly David Edwards in the 15 involved.
You absolutely hate to see it. Looking at it, I think David was trying to avoid contact, got into the wall, and just spun down the backstretch.
And it looks like we're having a little bit of a glitch here trying to get the replay. So it doesn't believe we're going to get it. But yeah, the 15 did go spinning down the backstretch. Didn't hit nothing though. So good job on him. But man, this is interesting. Is Rasick was on pit road, entering pit road. As that happened, it's going to be unfortunate. He's going to go a lap down. But now it kind of plays into Malarkey's advantage because I think you have to pit from now.
I think so too. The tire fall off. I mean, GT was pushing pretty hard. But he's got. Even if they pit right now, he's only got 5 laps on his tires. If he gets enough people between himself and the guys that decide to pit, it might work out staying out. But especially with all these guys lapped down, gonna have to take the wave around. I don't think that's gonna pay off.
I think Randy Coleman had an issue on pit road.
He did. Apparently, he got some type of penalty. I'm sure it was most likely speeding, but he said he had to serve a 40-second penalty.
Oh yeah, he was speeding big time. He hit pit road at 70 mile an hour.
Oof. That's pace speed. That's not pit road speed.
Yeah, he tried to get her slowed down, but it did not let him, as he had to sit there and be held for excessive speeding in that number 18. And he will be trapped a lap down, guys.
Well, a lot of guys taking the wave around here. So really, barring another caution, it looks to be a 9-car race, or 10 cars. I believe Ryan Isell got the wave around. So he'll be able to pit as well. So only really the top 10 in contention at the moment.
Yeah, and man, that's wild. As they all hit pit road. Didn't Malarkey only take 2? No, he took 4. Okay. Wow, so Malarkey played the strategy almost exactly right, guys.
And that is a heartbreaker. I feel for Justin Malarkey. You nailed the strategy perfectly. And the one thing that could ruin it for you comes up and bites you. Maybe if you felt like you couldn't beat the guys on outright speed, you got to outthink them on pit road, and he did a really good job of it. That's for sure. Hopefully he can pull out the speed here and still secure this victory.
Yeah, and the big thing is we didn't know if he was going to make it, so this could have been probably the best thing that happened. I mean, he gained track position out the caboodle of track load right there. So he definitely earned it with that strategy, and now he's in position to possibly win this race just because of that. So only got a few laps to go too, so he can do this.
Yeah, and it very well could not have worked out. He may have still been short, but like you said, at the very least, it's a lot of track position. He's in a much better spot than where he would have been otherwise. So still, even if he doesn't win, still a good chance to finish top 3 or top 5 in a good race overall, because he's up 16 positions currently.
Up big, yes, he is. Stephen Carey also a big move. Look at Kevin Zabladil there in the 6th position. David Edwards in the 7th position. Got a lot of big movers in this race, man.
Yep. Looks like I think Kevin and I saw somebody else as well, but they came into the server just as qualifying finished, so they were almost forced to just kind of start at the back. But yeah, really good job getting back up into the top 5, especially at a track like this where everybody got so spread out like they did.
Well, tell you what, this should be pretty wild as we come to 5 to go here on the Freaky Fast restart. I'm excited to see how this all plays out. This is going to be guys going for everything they have. Malarkey starting on the outside lane. See what he does in a 73 as the pace car is in, and the race is in his control. As there he goes, Malarkey is off. Green flag in the air. Looks like he clears GT. GT also clears Stephen Carey up top. So this gives us a pretty 2-man race here. We'll see how it all shakes out with 5 to go here at Michigan.
I was questioning the move to take the outside by Justin Malarkey, but when you can get a jump and clear the guy on the inside, maybe catch him sleeping on the restart, it really doesn't matter where you start, which lane you start in, because you definitely wanted that inside lane, I think. But yeah, we look at Stephen Carey even coming up here, passing Bob Fitzpatrick, looking to join the fray. He says, "Hey guys, I'm here too. I want to win this thing."
Yeah, this is going to be playing out pretty interesting. Look at GT going to the inside. You also got Bob Fitzpatrick on the inside, Stephen Carey side by side down the straightaway. Who makes the pass? This is for the win, 4 to go.
Got 5 cars under a blanket for the win here. Love it.
Wow, and GT sells it off in there. Malarkey just cannot hold on to it. Oh, and a little tap.
Contact.
Bob Fitzpatrick, that's going to be bring out the caution here. Oh, everybody does a good job of missing it, except for Malarkey. He's in the wall, and there goes his shot at a win.
I want to say, point out, going just before that caution, Stephen Carey made an incredible move, just kind of late diamond the corner off, got a huge run on GT and Malarkey, and was able to almost get by GT by the time that caution came out.
Here's what happens on the Freaky Fast replay for our 3rd caution here, brought to you by Ord Nissan Central. Bob Fitzpatrick in the 3, just a little contact to the left rear of that 73, and that sends him straight around in front of the field here. As now, I believe we will have our green-white checker here at the end of this race. Well, Brandon, what's your plan here if you're a GT? What's your plan here if you're Steve?
If I'm GT, I'm going to be looking to throw a block and just try to be in the way. If I'm Steven, I'm going to try to do exactly what I just did that last lap and still be driving on the apron, cutting the exit, while GT is having to swing out to the wall. He got a massive run there, and it sets up for him to take the inside into 3, and then really, see how it shakes out from there. The biggest thing is just finding a way next to the guy, and if you can carry a lot of speed on the bottom, especially, tires are a little bit worn now, not too much, but you don't have to worry about getting pinched down too much, and the bottom is really viable.
Yeah, the bottom could be very, very good here at this moment, as we got a few guys come down pit road here. But, man, this should be another wild finish here at the Evolution Racing League and the Arca Evolution Series here. So I'm excited to see how this all shakes out. I'm sure GT is got it all played out in his mind. I'm sure Steven does too. And then you got Kevin there in the 3rd position with Kel also in 4th, who are sitting here saying, you know what, if something happens, I'm here.
Well, Zach, I'm sure, as somebody who races a lot as well, these are the most anxious times driving. It's a situation I hate to be in, either, 1st or 2nd, having to do a green-white checkered like this, because so many things could happen. I would much rather be almost nose to tail with a guy racing for 10 laps than have to decide it on a 2-lap shootout.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head there. I ain't said that in a while, but you hit the nail on the head there, my friend. This is a time in the race where every bit of your anxiety comes out, and you're like, everything could go wrong. It's no longer, like you said, you'd rather be 10-lap battle under green, just due to the fact that it's a mano a mano. Right now you got other guys behind you that are just as hungry as you are, and just as willing to take the chances that you are. So this is where you gotta the risk versus reward comes in here a lot, as this will be our first green white checker of the night, as we have the possibility of two. So we'll have to see if these guys can get this done in one OT or a double OT. So we'll see here as they line up side by side here to get this green white checker kicked off. It should be fun. Make sure not to miss out on this. And shout out to all the sponsors out there: Sheffield Graphics, or Nissan Central, and ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. So thank you for being wonderful sponsors here at Freaky Fast and the Evolution Racing League. It's been a great show so far, and make sure not to miss out later on our Kentucky race at 9:20 Eastern. It is going to be high stakes, high payout, because man, that is for the championship. That race right there is going to be the biggest race of the season. Because if you don't get to that Final Four at Phoenix next week, you don't have a shot at championship. So I think Kentucky is the biggest race of the whole playoffs, and it's about to go down here later tonight, 9:20, as we're about to have another awesome finish here too in the Arca series.
Well, you talked about the Kentucky race, the round of 8, one race knockout. It's almost like 2 championship races back to back. Just how stressful that single round knockout is, and just needing to make the Final Four. So a lot of guys are going to be kind of throwing everything they can at it, just trying to secure themselves. 'Cause like you said, you got to make it to fight for that championship. Going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it all comes down to tonight. This is the finale here in Michigan for the Arca Evolution Series. Let's see how the finale ends. Is this the final restart? We don't know yet. We'll have to see. But GT Irizarry up here in the lead with Stephen Carey in second. Look at GT, takes off. Great jump for him. Can
Green
Stephen
flag,
Carey
green
get down in
flag.
front of Kevin? He cannot. This is going to help GT as they race side by side behind him. GT's going to pull that bottom lane with him.
And it's exactly what you want to see. The more these guys battle side by side, the bigger of a gap you can take. You can use up the whole track where they can't, but Kevin Zabladil up 24 spots, able to clear Stephen Carey pretty easily, looking to hunt down that lead.
Wow, he got a great run off of 2. Look at GT trying to break that draft as he goes down the back straightaway. A gentleman behind him decides to not follow him as they go down to 3. Oh, GT kind of high. Let's see if he can get the good run off. He does a good job of getting that. Looks like a good run off, but Kevin Zabladil as they come to the Sheffield Graphics white flag. See who will come back your race winner here tonight in the Arca Evolution Series. GT is your leader.
It's looking really, really strong. Got a decent gap. Kevin's not right on his bumper. Doesn't have to worry about a late dive or anything. Kevin's just sailing it in there, but it looks like he's just giving up too much off the exit as Stephen Carey gets a huge run on both of them right now, looking to overtake second at the very least.
Yes, it does. GT, one final corner for him in the 14 machines. He goes down to 3 and 4. Here comes the 17 on the bottom. 17 not going to be close enough. 17 slides on the racetrack, not going to have a good enough run here. And GT is going to be your season finale winner here at Michigan in the Arca Evolution Series, followed by Kevin Zabladil. And that's third place man of Stephen Carey. What a race, guys. What a battle.
That's a really great race for GT. Saw a decent showing out of him pretty much every time he's on the track. Yeah, he always finds his way to the front. So definitely one of my favorite guys to watch.
That's why I say the man, the myth, the legend, GT. He's always up front putting on a show for us out here in the stands and then out there in a streamland. I can't remember how I used to say that, but we'll go out here and see GT bring it to the start-finish line to burn them down for that number 14. Okay, he's going to pull it down here into the Gatorade victory lane and start his burnout. So he knew exactly where he wanted to do burnouts at. Now that's what you call a plan, Brandon. And shout out to all these gentlemen out here, and we will head to a quick break and see how it all shakes out for our post-race interviews. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are here with our top three finishers here tonight at the Michigan International Raceway at the Arca Evolution Series. And we will get a talking here with them as Stephen Carey was able to bring it home in that third position in that 83 machine and move himself up through the field. Great run for him tonight. Let's see what his thoughts are on the Michigan race here tonight. Hey, Stephen, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, man, well, what a race it was for you tonight, Steven. Able to move up from that 13th position all the way to third. So you were one of our biggest climbers there. How was the race overall, man, and how did it shake out for you?
I think it was pretty good. Ran pretty consistent all night. I don't think I had really the speed to really match GT or the 18 car there. But, I was trying to stay consistent, stay out of trouble, keep the car clean, and see where we ended up. And ended up finally getting the top three.
Yes, you did. That's for sure, Steven. Been one of the top runners here each week, but he's, like you said, finally able to get yourself into that top three where you've been running a lot of these weeks. This was the season finale. You had a lot of good showings, just not the finishes probably you wanted. So, how was the season overall for 2020, and how do you feel going into the 2021 season next year?
I really enjoyed this season. It's really the first time I really ran these cars on a regular basis, but really fun. And I think for next season, 2021, we got a really good team. Definitely got the Watkins Glen circled on. That's my home track, and I feel like that's where I'm gonna probably get a good win there.
Awesome stuff, man. Well, congrats on third tonight, and we'll be excited to see you come back next season here and battle it out with these guys. Anybody want to send a shout out to you before we let you go tonight, Steve?
Yeah, the RSR crew for putting on a good league. You guys for broadcasting too. You guys do a great job. I love going back and watching the race, and obviously my wife who puts up with me and has to hear my iRacing stories. So appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Awesome stuff, Steven, man. Well, you have a great night, and we will catch you next time, man.
Fully.
All right, that was your third place finisher, Stephen Carey in the 83. Congrats to him on his top three finish here tonight. But we got our biggest mover of the night by far. Actually, David Edwards was pretty close too, 24th to 4th. But Kevin Zabladil there moving 26th to 2nd. Let's see what his thoughts were on being the big mover of the race. Hey, Kevin, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
I got you.
Hey, man. Well, you were our biggest mover of the race by far, able to come home in the second position from starting for the 26th position. How did you pull that off, man?
Man, this was a hell of a night. I got literally 0 practice laps before I even missed the start. Was a little late getting home from work, and literally just jumped in here, had just enough time. I made the start of the cutoff by 12 seconds, and then missed the start of the race as I was taking my shoes off and everything. And luckily, we had a caution right there at the start. That's really what saved my race was that caution right at the beginning. And then I don't know. I'm still kind of in shock.
Definitely a great race for you, man. That was awesome to get the early caution for you.
Sorry, cracked before tonight.
And right there at the end, you were in a pretty good spot there, restarting in the third position. Do you think you could have done anything different to get around GT? But because he looked pretty strong, but you were right there with him at the end.
And GT's always he's always fast, and it's awesome to be up there, with those guys. That means a lot. But I don't know. I think maybe if I put in some practice time, maybe I could have had some bag of tricks. But I mean, hell, I had newer tires, and he still held me off, and that just shows how good he is.
Yeah, GT's definitely good, man. But you were up there in his company, so that's always good company to have, they say. So congrats on second here tonight, Kevin, in the Arca Series, man. Anybody want to say a shout out to you before we let you go and get prepared for Kentucky here tonight?
Just want to try to get everybody on twitch.tv/Zabmoto. I'm trying to get some followers going, trying to start this whole streaming deal out, and appreciate the followers I got. And just hope everybody. I probably won't be back in this. I'm not fast enough to make many podiums. So everybody have a good Christmas. If I don't talk to you before then.
Awesome stuff, Kevin. Congrats, man, on second tonight, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you.
All right, that was Kevin Zabladil there. Great run for him tonight. Biggest mover of the race. But their pole man, Sheffield Graphics pole winner, was able to bring home that checkered flag here tonight at the Michigan International Speedway, and we'll see what his thoughts were on this excellent finish for the 14 here. Hey, GT, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
What's up, brother?
Oh, man, this is getting to be a routine up here. You're just one heck of a driver, man, I must say. Always putting yourself in good positions to win these races, finish top 3, get very consistent finishes. Man, I tell you what, you had a heck of a battle on your hands there tonight with that ATO Randy Cornwell. You guys were battling there through that first run, and then it seemed like he made through the second pit stop sequence, he made an unfortunate mistake. It looks like he sped on pit road there to get that hold penalty, but you were able to bring it home to victory tonight, man. How did you do it, and how was the racing out there on the racetrack?
I was actually talking to Randy afterwards. You know, I let him go by early in the race, and I was just thinking it's Michigan. You're going to be able to drive back up and get back by him. But I was wrong. I mean, once you settled in, you settled in. So I just kind of just stayed in his tracks, and you know, then it was going to be, you know, the pit strategy game. And I knew when I pitted early and I kept watching him stay out, I'm like, this is going to come out pretty all right. And then I noticed I got some good distance, but I actually overshot the pit stall and had to back up. So the second time around, I was talking to my teammate, David Edwards, and I was like, look, you know, by the time he catches me, I'm going to be almost in my fuel window again anyway. So I'm just going to throw it on pit road. What do I got to lose? And you know, he caught me. We ran, I think, 2 laps, maybe 3 laps, and then I threw it on pit road and nailed the pit stop, and that's when he got caught. But he said he was watching us too. He was like, well, you know, he wasn't going to stay out there any longer like he did the first time because he wouldn't be able to make up the ground. But in all actuality, then we had the yellow, and, you know, Malarkey said, I'm going to take the outside. And I was like, all right. You know, I'm all right with that. You know, I was trying to think how I was going to pull it off starting on the outside there and you know, make sure I got a good start. So when he did stayed up there, I mean, that worked out good. So, but like I said, you know, but we've always liked this track, and I'm glad I can put the Jimmy John's Freaky Fast, you know, car up on the front row for you guys to see.
Definitely was a great race for yourself tonight, man, as always here. And definitely like the Michigan. Now, this is a little bit onto more tonight. You know, this is some good momentum here to carry into tonight's very big race at Kentucky. How you feeling for the Cup Series, and what's the strategy going into it?
I'd be lying to you if I said that, you know, we weren't a little nervous. I mean, I think everybody is. I think you've seen more teams out practicing this past week than you know, ever. I know our team got together a couple nights and tried some different strategies, you know, all the way from qualifying up to, you know, fuel runs and tire runs. I mean, we tried all kinds of different things, man. And it's just, you know, I'm not going to lie, man. It's Kentucky isn't one of my favorites. I mean, I'm okay. You know, I can hold my own, but I'm just, I don't know. I mean, we're just going to see how it plays out. You know, it's a good thing it's a Cup car. I'm better in the Cup cars than I am in trucks or the Xfinity cars there. I just can't get those things to turn. At least with the Cup cars, they turn a little bit better. So I don't know, man. We're going to see what we got. Hopefully we'll be talking to you, you know, at the end of that race too, and getting ourselves locked in for Phoenix.
Hey, man, that would be one heck of a story for sure, man. I'm sure you'll be up there competing for the win as always as you do, and hopefully you have some good luck going into that tonight, GT. Congrats on the win here tonight. Anybody want to send a shout out to you before we let you go and get prepared for Kentucky?
First off, I want to say I think the one that you're going to have to watch at Kentucky is going to be our teammates. I think it's going to be either Sheffield or Travis is fast too, but I think it's going to be Sheffield or it's going to be Curtis. During the practice, Curtis really was the one that could pace us. So I think he's going to be one to watch. But, yeah, I want to thank you guys for coming on board. As always, you guys do a great job at broadcasting and stuff like that. You kind of bring people into the event, which is what you should do, and that's what you do. Thank Chef and Ryan and Scott and all them for putting this on. And I always say it, man, thank you to everybody on the track. I mean, this group of guys out here they're phenomenal. I mean, they're so respectful on the track, and I mean, it's just a fun place to race, man. You know, it's no good to go into a league where you're, you know, being ran like a drill sergeant or something like that. I mean, then these guys are really cool, and I do appreciate it, and I actually look forward to every week coming out here and trying to do the best we can. So that's it.
Awesome stuff, GT, man. Well, congrats on the win here again, like I said, and good luck going into Kentucky, man. We'll be watching.
Brother, thanks, guys.
Yep. All right, that was GT there, bringing home the win tonight in that 14 machine. Congrats to him, and he's got a big race coming up here tonight. Like Brandon said, almost like 2 championship races back to back. We'll have to see how that all shakes up here, and don't miss that at 9:20. But now we got our official race results here from our Arca Evolution Series. GT Irizarry was able to bring home that win, with Kevin Zabladil bringing it home that second position, biggest mover of the race. Third is going to go to Stephen Carey, followed by David Edwards in that 15. Fifth is Kel Simon. 6th, Ryan Ezel, great run there, starting 6th, finishing 6th. 7th is James Courtnone. 8th, Matt Upbrook. 9th is Steven Rasick. 10th, Justin Malarkey. 11th will be BJ McDonald. 12th, Randy Cornwell. 13th, James Wright. 14th is Josh Holmes. 15th will be Michael Haru. 16th is Michael Martino. 17th, Kevin Dowd. 18th, Matthew Dude. 19th is Bob Fitzpatrick. 20th is Zach Sandlin. 21st, Daniel Gonzalez. 22nd, Carl Thomas. 23rd, Stephen Potter. 24th, Stephen Baldwin. 25th, Scott Taylor. And rounding out your field, and 26th is Kevin Sabilla. I tell you what, guys, what a race we've seen here tonight. It was very fun to watch and broadcast. Brandon, what were your thoughts, man?
Well, another fantastic race for the Arc Evolution Series. GT coming home strong as he normally does whenever we broadcast these guys, and really good job for Kevin Zapladil, David Edwards, big movers coming up from the back to the front. You really love to see it. Some great strategy, some hard racing, ill handling cars, hot track, loads of fun.
That it was, man. Very, very fun here at the season finale at Michigan. And it's been a great season here so far in the Arca Evolution Series. I'll be happy to be back next season here in 2021. But we're going to head it up to our boss man, Robert Moyer Jr., and he's going to close out our wonderful broadcast here tonight.
That is right. Thank you, gentlemen, for tonight's great commentating. All right, gentlemen and ladies out there in the stream world on YouTube and Facebook, don't forget to hit that subscribe and share button and follow button. We do much appreciate it here, but like these guys were explaining earlier, get ready. 9:20, 8 drivers going for 4 positions to head into Phoenix. So make sure you tune at 9:20 Eastern here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with RSR Racing League. But until then, everybody have a great night. God bless everybody. Love yous all. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Later.